Iran has strongly condemned the latest accusations leveled against Tehran by U.S. President Donald Trump during his recent visit to Saudi Arabia. Iran's foreign ministry described Trump's remarks as divisive and misleading. It said the U.S. president shamelessly accuses Iran of interfering in regional countries, while its proxy, Israel, is committing the most horrific colonial genocide in the occupied Palestine. The ministry added that Trump's attempt to distort the reality is aimed at diverting attention from the ongoing genocide in Gaza and Israel's crimes in Lebanon, Syria, and in Yemen. It noted that for over 7 decades, successive U.S. administrations have imposed severe sanctions and economic pressure on Iran, resulting in grave violation of Iranian nation's human rights. The ministry said Trump's remarks seek to sow discord between Iran and its Arab neighbors, but those countries will continue to bolster their friendly ties regardless of any third party's divisive approaches. Now let's discuss that further with Tony Gosling, historian and investigative journalist, joining us from Bristol. Mr. Gosling, welcome to the program. Historically, the U.S. has backed armed groups from Mujahideen in Afghanistan and to Al-Qaeda offshoots and many others, simply to counter its perceived enemies. Isn't it deeply ironic that Donald Trump right now is accusing Iran of fueling instability?
Well, let's just say politely, Donald Trump is not in the loop. Donald Trump doesn't get it. You've quite rightly alluded to the covert, and that's anyone that knows about this stuff knows about it, but this has been kept quite secret from politicians and journalists and the public in the West. Is something called Operation Cyclone, which the idea was back in the 1980s that the US would create a fake Islamic fighting force to use as proxies. They did that in Afghanistan, and they've been doing it ever since. Basically, these people are mercenaries, and from time to time, for example, the CIA will employ them. Maybe in a few months' time, it might be the Saudis that employ them. But this is a proxy force which has been used to create chaos. Let's just use that word once more. Chaos in the Middle East. That chaos suits certain individuals, particularly Benjamin Netanyahu, who is looking to expand into a greater Israel, rather reminiscent, isn't it, of Nazi Germany and Adolf Hitler, who in the 1930s kept calling for Lebensraum. He said, our people, they need more room. We need more room. Lebensraum. And there's lots of echoes with this current policy. So Donald Trump really doesn't get it at all.
Exactly. Let's talk about the Iranian threat that Donald Trump is talking about. Has this Iranian threat ever been anything more than a manufactured pretext to justify arms sales, military bases, and permanent U.S. footprint in the region?
Well, look, should we call it the Iranian embarrassment? The fact is that the Iranians in 1979 kicked out the colonialist American powers in that part of the world in a revolution. I would say a glorious revolution. This is the sort of thing that we need in some ways here in the West. We need to remove these despotic people because they don't represent the population of Britain any more than they represent the population of Europe and America. We have in my city in Bristol at the weekend, I was just sitting in a cafe and not joining the protest, but for 20 minutes citizens of my city were marching past in support of Palestine and against their own government's policy. And so the government is very much out of tune here, just as the Israeli government is out of tune with international law and committing war crimes. And so really the only crime that Iran has committed in my eyes is that of embarrassing the despotic, malicious, malevolent people who are creating chaos. And let me explain a little bit about the chaos if I can, because a lot of people look at this and they say, why, this is crazy, this is madness, what are they doing? Well, look up accelerationism. Accelerationism is a Nietzschean philosophy, Hitler's favorite philosopher. The idea is what you do is you create chaos and then you attempt to control the outcome. Now, Netanyahu, from his very early days, his father encouraged him to believe that he had a very special role in Israel to create the chaos which would bring about the Jewish Messiah. Now, this is something which some Jews do believe may still happen. Of course, many Jews are Messianic Jews, and they have seen Jesus, who was Jewish, as their Messiah 2,000 years ago. And so what we've got is the possibility here that they are creating a kind of antipathy to all of the Abrahamic faiths, to Judaism. And so in a way, Netanyahu is actually the most anti-Semitic individual on the planet, destroying his own country and his own faith.
Tony Gosling, historian and investigative journalist, joining us from Bristol. Thank you for your time.